Hey guys, welcome back to Uncle Fresh Reef. Got an update for you today on the fish and coral. Hope you enjoy it. It's long overdue. I know I've been talking about a lot of other things mechanical down underneath in the sump area, and I haven't really shown you a lot of the trials I've had up here. I've had a lot of good things happening and some other fails. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first thing first, talk about the fish. They're hungry right now. They know it's close to feeding time, but the whitetail bristletooth is still doing great. Loaded with attitude, pestering stuff as much as possible, but he is definitely a character. The clowns are doing great. I see them fighting a little bit more now. Nothing real serious, but just establishing dominance, I think. The larger one definitely runs the tank. In fact, I saw just a couple days ago where the larger clown here actually was fighting with the bristletooth. So much so that the bristletooth was actually using the spike or barb on his tail to go after the clown. So it ended, in a draw. They both went about their separate ways, and nothing more to it. So I'll let it go at that. Not that there's much I could do anyway, but things generally are very, very good. So let's go ahead and jump into the coral. And as I mentioned earlier, some things are doing very, very well, and then some other things just haven't been doing well. Let's start off with the bad first. The bad is going to be my graveyard of acans. I got several acans in, and they just didn't make it. I don't know why. I'm going to say that it's got to be the low nutrients in the tank. I was running GFO as well as a refugium, and my guess was 0 nitrates and 0 phosphates. Just wasn't what these acans were happy with. So that being said, I did lose several of them. One down here was a really nice acan, and this one is definitely on its way out. And then I call it death row right here. So I still see some color to them, so I'm trying to keep hope that they'll come back. But as of now, the only acan that is doing very well is going to be this one. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I am running a gel filter on here, so I'll come back and remove the gel filter and see if it makes it any clearer. But this is the best filter setting I can get. And my original acan right here. This guy here has been hit or miss. Right now he's puffed out, looks pretty good, but he tends to withdraw and be very, flat. You can see the white part of the bony underneath the fleshy polyps there. Just withdraws quite a bit. So I haven't seen any new growth in almost 9 months from this. Again, I'm going to attribute it to lack of nutrients in the tank, but since I removed GFO and removed the refugium, things are generally starting to pick up. So it does show signs of improvement. So all in all, the soft corals not doing also great. These are my favorite. These are the Jason Fox Jamba Juice. I moved them down here out of the direct light and out of the flow, and they seem to be doing better. I have some Rastas back there that you can see past the Kenya tree, and I also had some that escaped off the frag plug when I moved it. So these guys are doing well. They're bouncing back. They seem to be opening up a little bit more. And of course I've got 3 more Zoas down here. They're opening up a little bit more. That's a King Midas. One is a Twizzler, and I can't remember the other one. You'll notice the large sponge growing behind it. Even though I know that they're not going to hurt anything, it's still kind of an eyesore. But for now, I'm leaving it there. And there's a lot of sponge material down here underneath the acans. and you'll see some macroalgae. So where I failed growing macroalgae in my refugium, it seems to be thriving now in my aquarium. So there's that. So it does appear that there's some nutrients coming back. And of course, I've got a bunch of pallies up here, these green ones, and these are actually a yellow and purple. This one back here just doesn't seem to be doing much at all. Kind of hanging on, but that's kind of the story of the softies. I guess we'll switch and go back here now. My Scalemia. That's been my other test here lately, is trying to revive this. With zero nutrients in the tank, LED lights, it withdrew almost down to the skeletal part of it, very little color. I immediately ordered some Fauna Marin LPS pellets in, and it has picked the color up dramatically. Some other things I did was move it out of the direct LED light, which I read can be a problem for Scalemia. They don't like LED lights. They also don't like a lot of water flow and a lot of warm temperatures. So I've been steadily trying to decrease the aquarium temperature from 78. Currently I have it to 77.5, and I plan to go to 77, and that's probably as low as I'm going to go with the temperature. But it does seem to be responding to every other day feedings of the LPS pellets. I am going to order some more copepods and phytoplankton from Algae Barn, and I am adding reef chili, which has phytoplankton in it and some other stuff, and hopefully this will bounce back. I have not seen it open its tentacles up and feed in quite some time, but it is taking the LPS pellets and consuming them. So I am hoping that my Australian War Paint Scalemia rebounds and we'll get back to where it was. I got this rock flower anemone. It is tripled in size. Moved around a little bit, but all in all, it's decided it likes this spot right here. So I also feed it to the LPS pellets from Fauna Marin, and it tends to really like it. So it aggressively attacks it when I drop them down there. The color is just amazing. I wish it would move back out some, but it likes this spot, and so this is where it's going to stay. Really like this. So moving along, my Green Star polyps, of course, they do what they do. This is an island that I wanted to grow. I finally got the flow worked out where it waves in the current. It looks really nice. Oh, and then I forgot to mention I do have some, these are going to be the Utter Chaos zoas down here. So Kenya tree, still not rebounded. It's a third of the size it was when I got it, but it hasn't died, so it does what it does. I think it had a bacteria infection or something of that nature, but I think it does look, I do see a little black spot on it, but it is opening up, it is feeding, so you know, we'll see how it goes. The firecracker clove polyps, they also are opening up. They look great, but they're not growing. So that's something else that's concerning about the lack of nutrients. Getting to a win, you'll see back here, this is my Deadpool mushrooms I got from Worldwide Coral, and I got one mushroom in, and this guy here has split into 3. I originally thought it was going to die because it withdrew when it was splitting, but it is opened back up, and there's actually a smaller mushroom behind the biggest one there. So there's actually 3. So I'm pretty thrilled with that. Moving along so I can keep this video going. I got the hammer. This is a green and purple hammer. There's 5 heads on this, and it's doing pretty well. It's not as inflated as it normally is, but it's definitely growing. This is my neon green hammer. There again too, growing a little, but it's just doing well right where it's at, so can't complain. My Duncans here, I gotta tell you, this has been a definite win. Definitely increased in size. I've got 4 heads on this Duncan, and they have split or growing multiple heads underneath. So I definitely look for this to continue to grow, and I love feeding these Duncans. It's something to watch them consume the LPS pellets. This was actually my first Duncan up here next to the leather coral, and it's doing well too. Right now the tang was zipping around, and I noticed it ran into it, so it withdrew a little bit, but Duncans are doing great. The candy cane coral is also splitting again, so it split from 3 into 4, and now on the back head you can see that it is just about ready to split for a 5th time. So moving along, I have the encrusting Monopora here. I have the orange Monopora and then the green. And what has been really cool about the green is that when I got this, it was a small little frag. You can see the front part of it. That's all it was, and I glued it to there. It was bleached white. And hopefully this filter is going to do a good job, but it has turned green. In the last month or so, you can see a lot of color coming back to it, and that's pretty cool when you see a coral come back. So it's encrusting nicely. It's grown up the side right there. It's curling up, so I'm getting a lot of growth there. My orange Monopora has probably doubled in size. A lot of white new growth around the outside. It's not growing very well. It's kind of snaggletooth, but you know, it is growing, so can't complain. Neon Bird's Nest, the growth is crazy on this, but they're known for being very fast growers, and growing like weeds is used on occasion. Not one of the best SBS corals in terms of how well they look. They're kind of more stick corals, but to see it grow as fast as it is definitely pretty cool. So up here I got a purple Stylophora. It's doing well. Can't really say that it's growing as quickly as the bird's nest, but I really like this coral. The color is really intense. The polyps stay extended, which is really cool. And so I've definitely enjoyed this coral quite a bit. The other thing to point out here is where, again, my refugium failed miserably to grow chaeto and macroalgae. I now have a surplus of macroalgae growing on this rock. Where it came from, can't tell you, but it is growing very well. So got some nutrients definitely going on in the tank, which is good. So the last coral I'm going to show you is the Stylophora. Actually, that's a Poecilopora. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can get it to focus a little better. This one here is a neon green. It definitely has a lot of color to it. Let's see, it's kind of bleaching out a little bit, or in the light. Let's see if I can turn that filter off. It's doing pretty well. You know, just not... you know, it does what it does. It's not growing as quickly. I don't see white tips as much as I do on the bird's nest, but the polyp extension is pretty good, and it seems to be doing okay. So I keep my ALK at 8, or at least that's where I've been able to maintain it. pH is also staying right about 7.9 to 8. So levels are pretty good, and the SPS seem to be enjoying it. So that's really about all. My Blasto is doing really good. Another fun coral to feed right here. So again, just wanted to give you a quick update. We've already gone 14 minutes. So let's go ahead and end it here. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave any questions or comments that you might have. Definitely enjoy getting the comments and interacting with everybody. Hopefully you've enjoyed this Cube Aquarium series. I am trying to start a new one, and I'll have lots of cool information on that coming soon. I'll also have some big news to let everybody know in about a month. So I have a big project that I'm working on that I think everybody's going to enjoy, and a new series that I'm going to be starting, which I'm fairly certain everybody's going to enjoy. So again, thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Apologize for this getting as long as it did, but I had a lot of corals to go over and a lot of updates. So thanks again. This is Uncle Fresh Reef, and we'll see you next time.